We stand here as human rights defenders in Nakuru under the umbrella of the Nakuru Human Rights Defenders Network. We were joined by the Law Society of Kenya, the South Rift branch, and the journalists, sort of justice at the grassroots level. We are here in solidarity with Thulani Maseko and his family and all human rights defenders the world over. His death is unfortunate. He didn't have to die. You don't have to die for others to live. But it happens time and again that human rights defenders will be killed so that those who hold power can sustain their positions in power. So today, we would want to demand the United Nations Security Council to discuss and take stern action against the Kingdom of Eswatini. We know that the UN has got the mechanisms to institute investigations that would eventually ensure that the killers of Thulani are brought to book. We want the UN to seize the moment and ensure they bring to an end unwarranted extrajudicial killings involving human rights defenders. The UN has a framework and a mechanism to conduct in-depth investigations. The UN has got a framework and a mechanism to sanction any state, be it a member or a non-member, if found culpable of infringing upon the rights of others. We are not asking any other less authority than the Secretary General of the United Nations to issue a statement condemning this heinous act and committing that the UN would take appropriate action that will ensure justice for Eswatini. Closer home, would wish to call upon the African Union, particularly through the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, to also send a team to the kingdom to investigate and ensure that the men and women who may have taken part in the murder of our colleague are brought to book. That's what we are doing here, and that's our call, and we would wish to urge all defenders across Africa and the world over to join this solidarity movement. This is a momentous occasion that is going to restore the dignity of humanity and to ensure that human lives are not taken for granted. Like Jonathan Carriera says, grass always grows. And this time around, more grass is going to grow, and we are going to have more defenders, ready and willing to stick out their necks in defense of the rights of the weak amongst us. Thank you so much. So you repeat what I say.
Rest in power, Thulani Maseko.
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 Justice for Thulani Maseko.
Justice for Thulani Maseko.
Justice for human rights defenders.
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 Rest in power, Thulani Maseko.
Rest in power, Thulani Maseko.
Aya.
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 Aya. Aya.
Aya.
Aya. Aya. Aya.
Laleyo.
Yeah.
Once again, I wish to reiterate on behalf of the Law Society of Kenya that the saying that Maseko just quoted, the one from Martin Luther King Jr., that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And also wish to say that as Kenyans, though we are miles away from Mr. Thulani or his country and the injustices going on there, we are aware that this goes on even in our neighboring countries, and it is something that we need to show solidarity with our brother, and that we are together during this period, even with the country of Eswatini. So as human rights defenders and on behalf of the LSK, I would wish to show solidarity with him today, and also promise to fight for human rights always, whenever they happen, regardless of the location or the country which this infringement of human rights may happen. Thank you once again for the lawyers who are here for coming to join us. I think I do not have much to say, but Aluta continua. My full name is Samuel Momanyi. I'm an advocate based in Nakuru, and also work for the Nakuru Legal Aid Center. Thank you.
On behalf of the community, as I say, my name is Theo, working closely with the community on the areas of our community paralegalism, that are the community members dedicated to serve the community at the lowest level of access to justice. For what has happened to Thulani, Maseko, is anything that can happen to anybody. As we stand strong in solidarity with Maseko Thulani, I'm telling those people who have been granted that permission to help others. To be specific, the officers given an opportunity to protect and also to fight for every part to be in a position to have his or her own justice provided excuse expense just to take this as an opportunity that can also happen to anybody. You can be killed today, tomorrow you are the person to protect somebody. So my request for those maybe who have happened to be part of the trend to have killed a number of people, human rights defenders, also to be aware that the world as it moves towards the person they are targeting, also it is moving towards them. They should remember there is God as the soldiers of solidarity for this Thulani Maseko. We are requesting the justice to be expensed as quick as possible. Let justice be delivered purposely for Thulani Maseko, who has lost his own life in front of the family, in front of the children and the wife. It is something you are condemning as the human rights defenders that we stand, and we stand so strongly to defend those people who are fighting for justice for the people in the community and the institution within the environment and the areas where they live. Thank you.
My name is Vincent. I'm a human rights defender from Nakuru. Human rights defenders normally face a myriad of challenges, and sometimes in the course of their work they are persecuted by the powers that be. Some of them, like Thulani, end up being assassinated because of speaking truth to power. So we recognize that the work we do sometimes exposes danger to us, especially from people who may want to hide the truth. Someone like Thulani was fighting for democracy in his country, and people in power felt threatened. So it is the same situation even in Kenya. We have lost human rights defenders in the course of doing their work. Basically, they are doing issues of accountability, and then in the process they get killed or harmed physically. So this is the situation that we normally have in our country, in that human rights defenders are not safe. And it should also be noteworthy that we don't have a protection mechanism in terms of a policy that speaks about the work of human rights defenders. So sometimes this lack of regulations basically may expose us to dangers like persecution and all that. That is why it is important for us, when something happens like this, we come together to basically show solidarity. What has always been our strength is basically when we are together in numbers. That is always our strength. That is why we normally take the opportunity to normally come out together when something of this nature happens. So it is not a situation that is unique to Eswatini. Here in East Africa, we have seen human rights defenders being attacked, especially by government from the work they do. So it is not something that is unique. And we are increasingly seeing issues of violation of this nature occurring in our country. That is why we need more support, especially from government. When somebody is killed in a situation like this, justice must be done. We must bring the perpetrators to justice for them to be for it to be a deterrent measure. So when somebody is killed and nothing is done, then it emboldens perpetrators to be able to perpetuate this kind of crimes. So we are calling on governments, UN agencies, to provide support, especially to human rights defenders. And we especially call upon investigative agencies to be able to do their work and basically protect human rights defenders from these particular atrocities we are witnessing in our country, especially in Africa at large. These issues of democracy, issues of human rights, is something that expose danger to human rights defenders in Africa. So I think it is even we need to undergo a lot of soul searching. Why is it that in Africa it is easier for you to be vilified, to be attacked for speaking the truth? Why is it easier for somebody to feel that when you speak the truth, you're actually threatening other people? So it is something that we need to think. We need to sit down and actually address this particular concern, because it is becoming worrying that we lose life easily. So today, even in conclusion, so today we are here to stand in solidarity, offer support to human rights defenders wherever they are, to know that we are together in this. We are able to provide that needed solidarity. And even those who are perpetrating this kind of crimes, they should be able to know that it is not something that we fear. In fact, this kind of crimes give us, emboldens our spirit that we need to fight for human rights and access to justice, for it to be something that is accessible for all. We recognize that sometimes the tree of liberty requires blood for it to flourish. So let it be that the death of Thulani not be in vain, that we shall be able to fight for democracy and ensure that freedom and justice flow like a river, even in Kingdom of Eswatini, where there is a lot of crimes perpetrated by the states. So, asanteni sana.
As this candle lights and when it goes off, so is the life of Thulani, but his light remains in all of us as human rights defenders. In the pain that his family is going through, we share the same. And it saddens me that we still have human rights defenders going through this kind of pain again and again. And as Africans, as human rights defenders, again and again we condemn the acts of murder against Thulani, against any other human rights defender who's been shot dead, who's been killed by evil powers of the governments. Power to you, Thulani. And as you rest, we will not rest until your justice is found.